Okay, no,
and
no, no.
humility.
I said red flags. I didn't
Oh,
say.
red flags. Oh, oops. Okay. Cockiness. Yeah, no, don't go doing don't stop doing all that because it's not a red flag. I promise.
Yeah, that's not. I'm like, wait a minute. I
I
said
don't know what just happened. Okay.
you got so excited and got sidetracked. This is why I called you absent-minded professor all your life. But go ahead. Right. Right. Thank you everyone for joining us for the something new dating in the modern age um, YouTube channel. I am your host Letitia, and I have with me my lovely co-host Giselle.
Hi.
We are mother and daughter from two complete generations. We are discussing dating and relationships from our different generational perspective. So I am more traditional as I am from Generation X, and Giselle, who I try to raise to be more traditional,
Yeah, no.
she is from Generation.
Z.
And so here we are. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Trying to get those likes up, those subscribers up so that we could monetize this and really put the content out to the people. So Giselle and I have a great dynamic. We love engaging on different topics. We talk about just about anything very randomly at any time. And we wanted to let people into our dynamic and see how we are as mother and daughter. So for today's topic, I am actually going to but Giselle's going to lead the topic because there are some things she wants to discuss. So take it away.
All right. So I remember the first topic. I kind of forgot the second one, so we'll see if I remember that later on. But for those of you who know what Reddit is, I was scrolling through Reddit, and for those of you who don't, it's kind of a pseudo social media platform that kind of works as both a semi-news outlet and a place for you to just look at random content. And how Reddit works is there's two feeds that I mainly use. There's the news feed and then there's the popular feed where you can just scroll through and see different subreddits. And subreddits are basically channels or groups where a bunch of random people post their content, post related content to the subreddit. So I was scrolling through my popular feed when I don't have anything else to do. And there was a particular post that I saw on a subreddit that was about women dating. And basically, I mean, the subreddit piqued my interest. It was like a meme. It was kind of funny. But that made me click on the subreddit and I started scrolling through it. And I came across a post that really piqued my interest. So basically, it was a meme. And I'll throw it up here when I'm editing in post. But it was a meme, and there was a picture of Beyonce and Jay-Z walking. And what it said was something along the lines of, you can't expect like a loyal man to cheat on you. Like a loyal man won't cheat on you, or how is a man supposed to be loyal if he cheats on you? And really, I mean, the post peak manders because it was Jay-Z and Beyonce, and those of you who know their history, Jay-Z has been accused of, and then it was confirmed that he cheated on his wife, Beyonce. So I clicked on the comments because I wanted to see what people were going to say about this, because I thought that, the Bayhive was about to come out and it was going to be all out war because, or Beehive. I say Bayhive. I don't know why I say Bayhive. I think it's because it's how it's spelled.
Because it is
But the Beehive
it's
is
Hive. Get it right. Put some respect
Bayhive.
on it.
So I was right. I was right. So the
Hive.
Bayhive is notorious for basically defending their queen Beyonce to the death and take it very seriously. But when I was scrolling through the comments, what I saw was
Okay, wait a minute. You're
talked
checking out.
about. Am I?
Yeah, you cut out. Ugh,
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
How about now? What am I sounding like now?
Fine.
Okay. But basically, so there were two comments. And what those comments were talking about is how they liked Beyonce's music, but they stopped listening because they were suspicious of her being a pick me. And so I expected to see under replies people being like, Beyonce is not a pick me. How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I guess the case with this subreddit is that a lot of women think the same way. Or at least a lot of women who are under the subreddit and follow the subreddit think the same way or have the same kind of like thought process. And a lot of them either were agreeing that she is a pick me or were wondering the same thing. So I just wanted to get your opinion on Beyonce being a pick me because of that whole situation of them still being together even though she knows Jay-Z has cheated on her. And basically a lot of people accuse her content of being like pick me related, like her music and the way that she shows off and stuff.
Okay, so I take it this is people from your generation, right? This has to be in your.
Actually, no. Reddit is it's hard to tell, but it's a lot of it's anywhere between like Generation X, mainly millennials, and then some Generation Z.
Okay, so it's latter end of um, Generation X, latter end. So more likely people are under 35.
Yeah, mainly.
Because, okay, so you're asking me if I think Beyonce's a pick me or how I feel about them labeling her a pick me.
Yeah.
This is somewhat new and not new because I remember when Beyonce got married to Jay-Z because Beyonce purportedly started saying that she was a feminist, right?
Mhm.
And true diehard feminists had a difficult time with one, her marrying Jay-Z, and then two, her scantily clad costumes when she would be on stage.
Right.
So, because if you're a feminist, you know, they true feminists, the true feminist movement is about a woman not needing a man, not needing a man for status or value. And so to them, it looked as if she stuck with this man who did not respect her and he didn't value her, and yet she married him. So
Right.
let's go into the definition of pick me. So I'm looking up on Urban Dictionary. Pick me, a person who begs for the attention, acceptance, and approval of a certain group in different things they say. In most cases, it's to attain the attention, acceptance, and approval of the opposite sex. Someone who enjoys and finds empowerment in doing things that make their significant other happy. They just added that second definition. A pick me is a woman a term typically used to um, it's a term women use to insult other women who have different views when it comes to men dating and relationships. A true pick me, is a woman who will say or do anything to gain the attention and approval of men while throwing other women under the bus. And she will go along with anything, whether it's 50-50. A woman should take care of a man, build a man up, accept all the bad behaviors of men, and will go against any woman and tell that woman that she is not worthy, lacks womanhood, simply because she disagrees with the fact that men should, a woman should build a man up, or 50-50, on the lines of 50-50. So a pick me will go hard for men in any circumstances, under all cases. I am accused of being a pick me based on my traditional values. So, but I am not a pick me, and I actually am doing I'm discussing this topic on my own YouTube channel. Um, so as far as them calling a Beyonce a pick me, Beyonce's not a pick me. Beyonce is just a woman who is married, and she understands that her husband has the leadership role. Her husband is the head of the household. For one, she is a Christian, and all Christians understand that the man is the head, the woman is the helpmeet, and I think that Reddit group just lacks understanding. This is why I don't do Reddit. Reddit seems just so crazy. Like,
Well, I mean, with Reddit, there's good and bad. Like, there's really good communities, and it's a great way for you to find like-minded people where you can actually talk and have healthy conversation. But there's bad also, because Reddit is the home to a lot of,
is
yeah, a lot of questionable personalities.
is it that where incels and red pill and MGTOW started? Didn't they start through Reddit?
Actually, I mean, you could say that they started through 4chan. Is it a community on Reddit? Yeah, but it's way worse on 4chan. Is 4chan still a thing?
I've never
Is
heard.
4chan still a thing?
I've never even heard of that. I don't even know what that is.
4chan, it's Reddit, but worse.
Oh, so you're on this thread and you're seeing people call Beyonce a pick me. Did they give the reason why exactly? Like, what did she do or say exactly that caused them to call her a pick me?
Basically, what I was saying, it boiled down to, because the comment didn't have, I mean, the post didn't have a lot of comments under it. But basically, what I was saying as I scrolled through was the sticking with a man who's cheated on you. And I mean, that was what the meme was about in the first place.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So they're saying she's a pick me because Lord help me, Jesus, Father God. They're saying she's a pick me because she stayed with her husband.
But I think there's a reason they're doing that, though, that goes just beyond like the feminist agenda of like pointing your finger at a woman and being like, you're not a feminist because X, Y, and Z. I think a lot of it also comes from the fact that it's speculation. Beyonce's a very private person outside of her celebrity persona. There's no way for us to actually go through and tell what she does behind closed doors. So I think they're seeing this and they're just running with it.
True. Because
Because we have no clue.
right, lemonade. But the fact of the matter is, what she's doing and why it doesn't matter. She's married. And when you're married, see, this is from a lot of, I bet this is a lot of people who are not married, single. Um, because married people, there are some people who are staunch and adamant about a man cheating, a spouse cheating, especially, and they're done, one and done, right?
Right.
However, when you look at your vows, when you get married, there are certain vows that are said. It says for better,
Right.
for sickness and health, for richer, for poor, till death do us part, right? The for better
Right.
or worse part is what a lot of people do not focus on, because why even say it if you don't mean it? And this is why divorce rates are so high, because obviously it seems people are getting married without really truly meaning what they're saying when they're standing at an altar, when they're standing before their family, when they're standing before their God, and they're speaking such words. Her for worse, for better or worse, was when he cheated or when he is doing something that she's not approving of, she's not okay with. And in that regard, it was cheating. But as a married woman, you get to decide if you want to fight for your marriage. You get to decide if you want to uphold your vows. And no one has the right to uh, check, malign, disparage, or question a married woman's decision, unless there's a safety issue and there's just blatant disrespect and there's some things. But even still, you know, like Cardi B, you could segue. Cardi B took Offset back. They're young, um, and when you're young, like when you marry very young, you're still growing and you're taking time to get to know one another. And there are going to be a lot of bumps and bruises, trials and tribulations, because you really don't
Right.
know yourself, and you really, and if you don't know yourself, you're going to have a hard time getting to know the other person. So he cheated. He publicly apologized. She filed for divorce, but according to her, her filing for divorce had nothing to do with the incident that happened last year. By watching them on Instagram, I can see why she was fed up. He's still very immature. He was playing a video game rather than giving his wife some attention. And that she made a comment that that's what he does. When he's at home, he's on that video game all day. So he'd rather do that than to give his wife attention. And then the way they talk to each other. Oh my goodness. What
I've
they?
never seen them interact.
Oh my gosh. It was this one clip that was posted on Instagram. I don't even know how I found it because I don't pay attention to celebrity pages on Instagram. But the way he was talking, but when you're young and you're from a certain culture, um, you know, I understand that's how people talk to each other. I grew up in that culture, but it's just not okay for me, especially in a relationship. I would never talk to a man the way that she talks to him, and I would not want a man to talk to me the way that he talks to her. And after a while, that gets tiring when you're constantly throwing digs at each other, constantly bickering, and even if it's in a playful manner, um, it gets overwhelming because sometimes that playful manner can cross boundaries, and now you're not, now all of a sudden somebody says something, oh, this is not play anymore, right? So then it leads to arguments, fights, conflict, or whatever. So I saw from that clip, I couldn't understand why she was like, I'm tired, things aren't just working. But then now this week we find out she's going back to him. Now her reasons are, he showers her with gifts, and then she was lonely, basically, for lack of a better word, because I'm not going to mention in what she actually said. So this is a family friendly program. Um,
Right.
you can
Yeah,
look
no,
it
we all know what she said.
up. You can look it up and find if you want to know exactly what she said. But people are really upset with her for choosing to honor her vows. You really don't know what's going on behind closed doors with people. So you
Right.
judge them. But I respect any person who's willing to honor their vows, regardless of the situation. Because when you honor your vows, you're honoring God and you're keeping your word to God. And you know me, my word is honesty, integrity. It means everything to me. Without that,
Yeah, I know that.
we're gonna have an issue if you lack those two characteristics. So
Yeah. And I mean, I think that that's honest. So basically, what it boils down to is being married doesn't make you a pick me. Being married and staying with a spouse who cheated doesn't make you a pick me. It just puts you in a difficult situation and you have to make a difficult choice.
yes, exactly. So
And
I think a lot of women use that pick me because I think they're projecting. I think they are realizing that they're single, that they're having a difficult time finding a man or keeping a man, or the type of men that they want doesn't want them.
right,
They're
and so they're using the excuse, well, I'm single because I'm not a pick me.
right. Yeah, or yeah, and she's still married. She has someone because she's a pick me. Only
Right.
pick me's deal with all that crap. When they fail to realize not all men cheat and not all men are dogs. Um, Not all men are going to be out to abuse you. Not all men are going to be out to use you. Those are dusty males who want nothing out of life, who have nothing going for themselves other than to uh, use women for their gain. And women
Right.
know how to discern a difference between a quality man and a dusty. And if you are only dealing with dusties, then you have to dig deep, do some introspection, some self-reflection to figure out why that is. Because we tend to attract what we are. And you may have everything going on for you on the outside. You may have yourself put together, it seems like on paper, but something is causing you to attract only dusty males.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out the problem, fix it so that you can attract good quality men because they are out here. They're just not orbiting around you because something is your energy or something is off.
Exactly. Or you could just be a poor judgment of character.
That too.
I mean, like, I don't mean to come for anyone and say, like, I don't want anyone to get offended and be like, well, I'm not a poor judgment of character. But no, the fact of the matter is,
Poor judge. You're a poor
yeah,
judge.
poor judge. You know what I meant to say. um, but the fact of the matter is, sometimes we make poor decisions about the people we choose to surround ourselves with, and you don't realize those decisions until maybe it's too late, until you've probably given that person parts of yourself that you didn't mean to give them because you thought they were someone who they weren't. And what it comes down to is, I guess, like a vetting process. I mean, that's what I do whenever, like, I've had guys approach me. Is I was very careful about how I handled that situation. It was like vetting. So like if I was talking to someone, I'd just be very careful about listening to the way they spoke or the questions they asked. Like I remember I was walking to pick up some Chipotle one day, and I had a guy stop me, and like I noticed this guy was looking at me when
Was
I
this
was walking across the street.
was
I
this
had my headphones on.
was,
What?
was this on campus?
Yeah, this was on campus. This is downtown.
Okay.
But so like yeah, I was dating Colin at the time, so nothing was gonna come of it. But I was trying to avoid the guy at all costs, and he caught up with me. Basically, asked me to take my headphones off, and I'm not a mean person, so I'm not like no and just keep walking. I stopped to see what he wanted, even though part of me knew what he wanted. And he asked my name. He's like, "You're very beautiful." And I was like, "Okay," and he was very respectful. But he asked if I had a boyfriend, and I said yes. He's like, "Oh, well, are you allowed to have friends?"
Nah.
And that was a red flag for me. I was like, "Friends?
Right.
Well, first of all, I'm allowed to do whatever I want." I mean, I didn't say it that way, but I'm allowed to do whatever I want, but I don't have friends. He's like, "Well, why can't you have friends?" I'm like, "Well, because I know what friends means." He's like, "Well, what does friends mean?" I'm like, "Well, you know what friends means." And that's the thing, is like guys like that will, what I've noticed in my experience is that guys like that, it's always that question like, well, can we be friends? Can I get a hug? Like, no, because
So basically,
X, Y, and Z.
what you determined and what you were looking at was that they lacked integrity, because when
Yeah,
you told him that you had a boyfriend, he didn't care. And the reason why he didn't care, because he used the word friend. No, because that's not what he was trying to do. He felt he would,
exactly.
have sex with you, and using that word friend as an excuse, but you already discerned that, okay, this is a person who lacks integrity, who is lowbrow. Because whether or not you have a boyfriend, well, you having a boyfriend let you discern that. But even still, if a woman doesn't have a boyfriend, there's certain things, you know, attractive women are just going to have to get used to the fact that men are going to try to push up on them. They're going to want to ask them out. They want to be in their space, and
I mean, it's just about how they do it.
it's about how to do it. And you said it correctly, like a vetting process. So as a matchmaker, that is very essential to my business. Um, I go about it a different way than I would do in than a person would do in their personal dating life. Um, because I'm trying to really match for compatibility. And so I have to utilize different tools and resources. But when it comes down to dating, yes, vetting for a person's character, their personality, how they are with people is very, very essential. And that will save you a lot of headache. A lot of
Sorry.
a lot of people, a lot of people, men and women, don't bother to get beyond the superficial because they're liking what they're seeing and they want that. They want the person, and they figure if they dig too deep, then they're going to lose the person, and that they don't want that to happen. But vetting is very, very essential, because it saves you from ending up as a unwed baby mama, or it saves you from being in divorce court and losing your children, or saves a man from um, getting with the wrong woman who gives them and then end up having a baby with her and ends up having the most difficult time even having to take care of his child or be a part of his child's life. So vetting is very, very essential and it's very important. What are some of the red flags you can look for when it comes to dating, would you say?
Oh, okay. So a big part of it is how you carry yourself. I'm a fan of confidence because in the past, I've dated guys who were very insecure, and it always like bit me in the butt. So carrying yourself, and I don't mean like being well dressed or being cocky. I mean being secure, like being a secure person, walking with security, holding your head up is important because it shows that you're not intimidated. Intelligence, definitely,
Okay, now,
and
no,
humility.
I said red flags. I didn't
Oh,
say.
red flags. Oh, oops. Okay. Cockiness. Yeah, no, don't stop doing all that because it's not a red flag. I promise.
Yeah, that's not. I'm like, wait a minute. I
I
said
don't know what just happened. Okay.
you got so excited and got sidetracked. This is why I called you absent-minded professor all your life. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Cockiness. Definitely. Men who are cocky come off as entitled to me, And what that tells me is that when I have a problem with you, you're going to feel like you didn't do anything wrong. So with I'm talking to a guy and he comes off as like cocky, or if he comes off as like, too big for his britches essentially, that immediately is just kind of like a turn off for him, just kind of like, oh, that worries me. Another one is, yeah, that lack of integrity. So like that guy who asked, well, can you have friends? Even before I was like dating Colin, there was a guy who kind of put off that same energy. He didn't use those words, but he put off that same energy. And so that's why I didn't entertain him, because I had that, like, I've had a similar experience and I was like, I don't know about all that. So yeah, men who lack integrity, who seem like they just want to have fun for the sake of fun, because like that's not why I date. Personally, I date to enter relationships, and my relationships are going to last for as long as we're into each other, which I'd hope would be a long time. And let me think. Insecurity, because I look for security, obviously. So if I see a guy, yeah, that doesn't carry himself well, that seems like he is just kind of like thrown together, and that he's jealous of anyone who is put together, or if he's quick to call out the fact that I'm put together and make fun of me for it, that turns me off a little, because it makes me think, well, why are you so focused on how everybody else is looking and you look the way you look? Like that tells me something about how you're going to come at me every time I want to dress up, and that is uncomfortable because I like to dress up a lot.
Okay.
There are a few more. I'm having a hard time thinking of them, but there's definitely stuff there that just kind of it makes me like, ooh,
Okay.
maybe not.
I'm going to give off my number one red flag that I think is very important that a lot of people overlook.
Yeah.
Um, Consistency. A
It's
person
what?
a person who is inconsistent. A
Oh, okay.
inconsistent with their time, with their behavior, and it can be very broad. Inconsistent behavior. Especially if a person, you're reaching out to a person and they don't respond. I know a lot of people say, well, with adults is, oh, I'm busy, with your age group. Oh, I got school, I got this, I got no, no, no. A person who is truly interested in someone will never be too busy to communicate. They may
That's a
not
fair point.
hold a conversation in that moment, but they won't leave you hanging for a day, for hours on end, days on end, weeks on end. Um, so a person who is inconsistent, that is a red flag. A person,
That's a very good point.
a person who does not keep their word, another red flag. And you can look at that as something as simple as, I'll call you back, and he or she doesn't.
Right.
You're left wondering, that
Like, are you gonna call me back? What happened?
I'll call you back as that universal signal, sign that I just want to get off the phone with you, and I don't know when I'm going to talk to you again. So I'm just gonna say I'll call you back so that it doesn't turn into an argument, disagreement, or whatever. So
See, but it shouldn't be like, because if I tell someone I'm gonna call you back, more often than not, I'm gonna call you back unless I'm like at work or something.
right, right. If I say I'll
But
call you back, I'm going to call you back. Um,
right,
and I'm going to call you back within a reasonable time. So if I say, well,
right.
at work, I'll call you back when I get off, I might forget, but that
Me.
that means that I really, that person wasn't my focus. And that happens
Right.
with friends and things. But if it's happening consistently or a lot, that's a red flag. You want to really have a conversation with the person and tell them like, hey, I notice this is an issue that you say you're going to call me back, but you don't. Now, people don't want to make mountains out of molehills, but
But there's a way you can do it.
communication is very important in a relationship.
Right. I mean, I had this problem with Colin. I am horrible at responding to messages if I don't know how to continue a conversation. Like,
You're
so
bad
we talked about something.
at
What?
you're bad at communication altogether.
That's true. But as far as our relationship goes, I was very bad about like forgetting to respond, or if like I didn't know where the conversation was going, basically, or if I was in the middle of something. And I didn't realize it was a problem, but until he came to me, and he did it very respectfully. It wasn't like you never pick up. It wasn't whiny or anything. It was like, hey, I've been meaning to talk to you about something, and I don't want to come off like an a-hole. I don't want to come off like wrong. I just wanted to let you know that I've had an issue with something, that we need to address it. before it like grows. And I was like, all right, what do you need to talk about? You can like talk to me. And basically just like, I notice that you tend to stop responding after a period of time, and that I might not hear from you for like a few hours, and that's a problem for me. And so, I mean, like, I apologized, obviously, because I never want anyone to feel like I don't want to talk to them.
You make me feel like that all the time once you got into college.
I know. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Communication
I
failed.
am.
So another red flag is breadcrumbing.
What is
Breadcrumbing
breadcrumbing?
breadcrumbing is when a person does little things, says little things to just keep you hanging on to them, but yet you don't see them,
Oh,
don't hear from them a lot. And then when you do speak on it, they say or do something that triggers you to want to hang on. And the reason why they breadcrumb is because they're not sure if they want to let you go. They're not sure that whatever they have going on as far as maybe other options is worth letting you go all the way completely. So they're still trying to figure that out, which is a no-no. Do not allow someone to breadcrumb you. Breadcrumbing is bad. Another red flag is love bombing. Someone who lays it on too thick, too fast, and you don't even know each other, but they're telling you the sweet nothings. Oh, I love you, and you're the one for me.
oh,
People are very marriage minded, but even still, a marriage minded person knows to hold
give it
themselves
time.
a certain way in as in to not come off looking desperate. And love bombing, a person who loves love bomb is usually because they're trying to get something out of you. Like
Yeah.
hobosexuals. You know what a hobosexual is,
Did
right?
you just say hobosexual?
Yes, you know what a hobosexual is, right? A,
I think I get the gist, but like explain it just so that I make sure I'm not wrong.
a hobosexual is a person who engages in a relationship or dating in order to find a place to live.
I knew it. And
so,
oh my god.
so hobosexuals tend to love bomb a lot.
Homosexual.
They love bomb they because they have to their situation is so dire and drastic that they have to get this person to fall for them very quickly so that they can get whatever it is that they want. And that's what love bombing is. Love bombing is so that is to get a person to fall for them very quickly in order to get what they want out of them. So hobosexuals do it, narcissists do it, players do it. um so it's just a matter of discerning. So when ladies and fellas, after 2 weeks of dating, and someone says "I love you," if you have not
Mm,
had consistent communication before then, and then you hear that L word, you kind of want to take a step back and
right.
and
Reevaluate.
actually ask them, "What is it about me that you love so much?"
Yes. I love that question. I
Guarantee you,
love that question with a
you're
passion.
not going to have an answer. But we're going to have to leave it on that note because we've gone over our time a little bit.
Gosh
So,
darn it.
oh, do you want to continue?
No, I mean it's fine. I'm always having so much fun that we always reach the time limit.
I know. So inconsistency, breadcrumbing, love bombing, um,
Lack of integrity,
lack of integrity,
insecurity,
security, lack
and
of personality,
oh yes.
someone who is constantly insulting, negative energy
Yes. Oh my goodness.
that people don't tend to pick up on. A person who is constantly negative, a pessimistic person, whew, ooh, that is just so draining. That is also red
Yeah, yes. Oh my goodness. Do you remember when I dated the one kid from high school? I
flag.
won't say his name, but yeah, that was our main problem. And I think that was what it came down to. Like, yeah, he skipped out on the Cinderella ball and all that good stuff, but it was just really draining to be with him. It was the fact that there was a constant insult and there was no positivity whatsoever. Like did I ever tell you about the time I got more medals? It was that competition when I was in academic decathlon and I won like all those medals.
Mm-hmm.
He only got one and he didn't speak to me for the rest of the night. Like no texts, no
Oh,
conversation on like the van home,
tell me that. Yeah, I had you.
nothing.
beforehand. See, there was a lot of stuff that you kept from me about your little relationship that I
Oh
just
yeah, because I figured I'm like I could handle it. Like there's stuff I don't tell you about Colin and I's relationship because like I want to work through it.
I know that, but that sounds like the makings of an abusive situation. And even
That's
if
why I broke up with him.
it's not going to be physical abuse, there's still going to be some type of emotional or mental abuse. I know, I remember because you were crying and I said, nope, this is the end. I'm not letting you deal with a boy who's going to sit here and make you cry over something stupid. So, great, end it. That's it.
Right.
Um,
And I
yeah,
mean, it was a nice, like I had, like it was a good time. Like when things were good, they were good. I'm not gonna say that the relationship was all bad and it was a war zone because it wasn't. But when you're dating a person who is constantly negative and refuses to acknowledge your achievements, if you're dating someone like that, you need to realize that they're not going to start.
they're not. And that's the biggest mistake that people make is they think that, oh, I could change this person. I could change these bad behaviors, these bad characteristics. No, you cannot. A person will only change if they want to change. When you got somebody saying, "Oh, I'll change for you," no, 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 because they'll change for you for a moment in time, and then what? They'll revert back to how and who they originally were.
Right.
So, want to start to look at that, and that's part of vetting is someone who is very, very negative, constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to think, what if I'm on the opposite end of this person's emotions? You know, what if we're at odds? What are they going to say about me? How are they going to treat me? And that's
Exactly.
that I had to learn throughout life is that how a person, you look at not how a person treats you, but how they treat the people around them, the people
Mm-hmm.
around them. If they are just mean and nasty and cutting people off for absolutely no reason other than they disagreed or that person wouldn't do what they wanted them to do,
It's
that's
not
a
worth it.
huge red flag right there. That
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, if I end this relationship or this relationship fails, how is this person going to treat you? And especially if you have children with this person, you have to really think like you're gonna if you want to get married and have children with this person, you got to think that okay, if this goes bad, not that you want it to go bad, but if this goes bad, what is his reaction going to be? How is he or she going to treat me in the end? So um, we're gonna leave it at that because we really, really went over this time. So
It's fine.
um,
But yeah.
you guys can check us back next week. We'll drop another video. Hope you enjoyed.
Yep, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content and go check out the first episode if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, and leave us comments, questions. We will definitely talk about them on air. If there's a subject that you would like for us to discuss as mother and daughter, we would gladly.
Absolutely.
So there you have it. And with that, we're going to sign off. Until next time.
Until next time.